It's exciting to think I can work from anywhere on the planet. As a kind of young guy or young woman who doesn't have a lot of resources, I can still work on a beach in Bali if I want and do my job pretty well. My name is Will Bennis. I've been in Prague since November of 2009. I've come to Prague 3 different times to live, and each time was for a different reason. We lived in the US for 5 years. We lived in Berlin for a year. Before I even came, I knew I wanted to try to set up a co-working space in Prague, and I thought it would be a good city for it. Someday, we're all going to work at an office that's going to be on our block. We're just going to go downstairs, go to the corner office where everybody on our block works. We'll log into our company, and our company will see us there, and they can check up on us, and we'll all be working remotely. And I didn't really believe it, but it was intriguing.
Being a freelancer gives you more stability than being an employee. Because when you're an employee, you depend only on one client, which is your boss. When you're a freelancer, you have all the clients you wanna have. When you're an employee, I think you live in the illusion that you have stability. So therefore, you don't care to have a good profile on LinkedIn, to have a good website. When you are a freelancer, you already know that you can lose all your clients and you can lose your income from one day to the other.
At least in the US and in Europe too, there's a pressure for companies to stop hiring full-time workers, unfortunately.
I came to Prague because I realized that Spain was not the kind of country I wanted to live in anymore. And I was looking for a country which was in Europe, so it would be close to my home. I could go for Christmas or things like that, and I wouldn't have any problem with the visa. So it had to be in Europe. It had to be growing with more business opportunities, not like in Southern Europe, and it had to be cheap. I realized that there are 3 kinds of countries. The Bears, Germany, is a country which is always moving forward, but in a slow path because it's already big. Then you have the Tigers, like Czech Republic, the Baltics, Estonia, even Hungary, Poland, which are small, but they are running so fast that they are growing and there are a lot of business opportunities. And then you have the tortoise. And one of the tortoises is, or even you can say the crabs, because they are moving backwards. And one of those countries is Spain. And I said, no, I don't want to live in this kind of country anymore, and say, okay, where are the tigers? Well, Czech Republic combines all the business opportunities from a tiger with a good quality standard, with good life conditions.
The real strong market is this huge and growing pool of freelancers. They're everywhere, and now you can start a business on your own as a freelancer. And you want to be around other skills, other ideas. You want to be able to share knowledge and get knowledge from other experts easily.
It's very nice to be able to create things every day.
What happens usually is that people come from these companies, they work in our space, and they quit the company and start a business with somebody they met in the co-working space. Because the people you're working alongside really are the ones you form bonds with and share ideas with and get excited about ideas with.
The biggest benefit of freelancing for me is the chance to work on projects that I know are helping someone. One of the dangers for new freelancers is that they kind of expect overnight success. And yes, you might get lucky and land a big client right away, but probably you need to spend some more time figuring out how the system works, figuring out what works for you and what doesn't work for you. I decided to start a travel blog. And as people began to sort of read my travel blogs and reaching a lot of people, it was really more fun. That's really when I started thinking about how I could turn blogging or writing and working with people online as a career.
For health insurance costs or employee costs, all these things are lower if you hire part-time workers or if you outsource. And so even people who work full-time for a company often these days, and more often, are freelancers.
J'ai commencé à travailler en tant que freelance par obligation. Ce n'était pas un choix. J'aurais préféré travailler dans une entreprise avec des gens, que ce soit plus stimulant. Mais finalement, il s'est trouvé que cette situation de freelance a été positive après coup, car ça m'a donné la possibilité de voyager à Prague régulièrement.
If you're a freelancer, you get a lot out of being your own boss, out of working independently. But if you work for a company, I think you're better off, the company is better off if they can create a really rich company culture. There's a lot of research on social proximity and how that contributes to great work of team. If you read Entrepreneur Magazine, the story of Zuckerberg or whoever, you have this idea, this is the dream, the dream of freedom and individualism. And what's missed in that story is the huge cost that I think goes along with that, of loss of sense of community, lack of connection to family and history, sense of complete anonymity. What's really interesting is while we have this move towards greater and greater individualism, this Western ideal of, and you live in a city where none of your family lives and everybody's mobile and can live everywhere, there's this human need for connection and real deep, rich social connections is being met in really interesting ways because we are a creative species. And so as the internet and these tools develop, we're able to find our niches in a lot of ways in a deeper way than we could before.
Humming that song when you're smiling.